In life, whatever you go through a process. Are you in a relationship or are you in friendship? If you don't do you, nobody will do you. My name is Nkiru, aka Adeniwe. Hello, my name is Nkiru, aka Adeniwe, coming your way this day. I want us to unpack this topic. We're going to be looking at why marriage no longer works. Why? There's different reasons, numerous reasons, but we're going to look at few. I'm saying this topic that is going to have part 2 because it's very broad. You know, marriage is something that God has ordained. Marriage is something that God has planned. So there's so many things going on in our society today. One of it is that lies in marriage. Some people go into marriage, men and women go into marriage with lies. And when that lie starts eating them up, or that they start finding out the lies, it affects marriage. Intimacy and sex affects marriage. Intimacy. When a woman and a man start living together, chances are that one of them have high libido, and the other person would, because I've come across it, I've met husband and wife, and the wife has high libido. It was a woman now, not a man, and the man came to me and said, my wife wants to have sex every night. And he's worried because he loves his wife so much and doesn't want the wife to go outside. And his sex drive is very low. And he came for counseling. I supported him to go and see a doctor to see how he can help. I supported him to speak to his wife and see if the wife can see a doctor. They were the same age mate, so it can happen to anybody. But he wanted to save his marriage. Third party affects marriage. In-laws affects marriage, especially from African culture. From the developed world, they live as individuals. Nobody, before a parents will come to their child's house, they will have to call. But in Africa, we live as a community, we live communal. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it affects marriage. As a man, the Bible said that when a man finds it a wife, he finds it a good thing, that a man and a woman will live together. He didn't say family. It's very important that we define that. That family will want to know. Some families will want to know what is happening in their son's life or in their daughter's life. It is very, very important for us to protect our marriage. Another thing that affects marriage is finance. Sometimes husband and wife meet together. They don't say how much. A man might have loans that he's still paying and not discussing it from onset. A woman might have some money or something that she's owing, or how much she's, because a man might think a woman has got money, and whereas she doesn't. So it is very important to discuss that from onset and say this is how we're going to run our home. Another thing that affects marriage is boundaries. Some people go into relationship without setting boundaries. I've had a man who said, oh, my wife is always calling everybody darling, darling, you know. I don't like it because she calls me darling, and that affects me. When she calls other men on the road darling. That they did not discuss from onset. That I asked him, did you notice it right from the beginning when you started the relationship? He said yes. So in the journey of their marriage, 2 years in between the line, he's affecting him. And you turn and tell your wife, I don't want you to do that again. That is when people start having discord, start argument, start fighting. But if from the beginning the man have said, these are the things I don't want, these are my dislikes, these are the things. And the woman would think, can I keep this? It becomes something that is, so it's good to set boundaries from onset when you're going into a relationship. And another thing I'm asking is, why did our parents succeed? I was talking to a friend whilst I'm preparing this topic, and one of the things he said is, it's not like our parents did not go through what is happening now. It's just that the patience of this generation is not like our parents. And some parents, some marriages are striving because of children. So many things happen behind the door. So I will encourage us. It's something that I'm very passionate about. As you go through marriage, both single, both married, talk. Communication is very important. But when I say communication, as I was preparing this, I was thinking communication. Communication differs. My communication with you might not be the way you will communicate. Especially when people are coming from different values, different cultures, different upbringing. Another thing that affects marriage is when kids start coming. It affects marriage. Because when kids start coming, you find that a woman will want to bring her child up, their children up, the way her parents have brought her up. The man will turn around and say, oh, this is how my parents did it. So it is very important for husband and wife to sit down and say, this is how we want to do our own. This is how we want to bring our children up. It helps to make the marriage healthy. Time is also what affects marriage. I live in the other part of the world that is not Africa. I live in the UK. Everybody works. Even in Africa, people work now. A man is working, a woman is working. It's affecting their sex life, their life. If you live in Lagos, part of Lagos, you see that some people go to work in the morning by 5 o'clock, they're coming back by 10. The man, if you need to satisfy your man, because that's your duty. If the man, you come back, when do you have time to actually talk to each other, have sex, discuss, enjoy? So it is very important in your marriage to actually identify, you know what, every Saturday or every Sunday, we need to maybe have a lie-in, talk. Even when you have children, let them see you do it and say, oh, me and your mom, we don't wake up till 10 and spend time. Why I said this is in the UK where I live, I've had 2 men that called me and said, I don't want to start sleeping around. Whenever my wife come back and I want to have sex, my wife will tell me I am tired. It's not only in England, it's also everywhere. Because everybody is struggling. Everybody is striving to keep the frame going, the bills. So these are the little that affects marriage. There's so many other things which we are going to be unpacking as we go on. But I want to leave it here. And I would suggest that you communicate as husband and wife. Thank you very much. My name is Nkiru, aka Adeniwe.